morning, all. I am Desi Hutabarat from Postgraduate Study Indonesian University of Education. I am going to present my research about GBA in the teaching of writing to Scaffold students in online learning. Here is my presentation timeline, and I will start from the introduction. It is about the research background, why I did this research. As we know, the syllabus of English subject aims to develop the competence to communicate in both spoken and written language through integrating the four language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Writing is considered as the most challenging and important skills among all the skills. As one of the productive skills, writing allows the writers to elaborate their thinking, ideas, opinion into a written form. However, many students have problems in writing even though they are good at speaking. Therefore, there are many approaches that teachers apply in order to improve the students' writing skills. One of the approaches is a genre-based approach, or GBA. A GBA, to learn writing, is used as a systematic instructional learning media for writing to help learners compile meaningful writing. Moreover, the implementation of a GBA follows the concept of scaffolding, or teacher-supported learning. The notion of scaffolding emphasizes the role of interaction by experiencing others in learning, moving learners from this exciting level of performance to a level of potential performance. It means that scaffolding helps learners to learn with a teacher's guidance from the very basic of knowledge up to having the ability to do or to create something independently. A large number of studies have followed trying to contextualize and to implement a genre-based approach in teaching writing. Besides, there are also many studies conducted in a case study designed to see the portrait of how a genre-based approach implemented in the classroom, the process, the challenges, the obstacles, and the teacher's perspective in implementing a genre-based approach. In implementing a genre-based approach, Irawansa 2016 stated that the difficulties that the teachers face in the teaching and learning activity are due to the students' lack of vocabulary to construct a short text, the mastery of English grammar, and the limit of time for the students to do the task. In addition, Teaching 2018 found that teachers should have extra competence to prepare the teaching and learning activity to reduce the teacher's challenges in applying genre-based approach. In other contexts, however, since the case of coronavirus disease, or known as COVID-19, spread and become a global pandemic, it changes many things, especially in education era. This forces all of the teachers in Indonesia make the transition of the way they teach from face-to-face learning to online learning. Therefore, the implementation and the portrait on how GBA is used to scaffold students in online learning has not been studied. As a result, this research was aimed to investigate whether GBA can be implemented effectively to scaffold students' writing in online learning. Here, there are two significances of the research. Theoretically, this research expected to extend and enrich the theories of genre-based approach, or GBA, to scaffold students in writing in online learning. And practically, the result of this research is expected to give insight for teachers on how the process of a genre-based approach, or GBA, scaffold students in writing context in online learning. Okay, now I'm going to explain about the literature review. Etymologically, the word genre is derived from the French language meaning form or type. Martin 1919 states that genre is communication activity having an orienting goal. Then Swells 1990 simply defines genre is a communication event in which the members have a process of communication which has a certain goal or goal-oriented for its members in a certain event of communication due to certain social context. Genre is a matter of communication even by social context. Contextually, the different social context then tends to lead to different genre. Genre as a product of writing is a kind of text or writing work itself. It views that the language or writing form must be related to social function of the text. Social function of the text then implies to certain social environment and place where and when the text is used. This is of course where will vary because of different contexts and situation. Genre writing as a product or type of writing shows its distinctive features as shown by its organization, rhetoric structures, and/or linguistic features. There are three main principles of genre-based approach as cited in Emilia 2005. The first is the principle of language learning as social activities, the second an explicit teaching, and the third is an apprenticeship teaching. Furthermore, there are four processes of teaching and learning through genre-based approach. The first is building knowledge of the field. This step is used to introduce a new genre or a new topic to be talking about. It is an interactive activity between teacher and student and among the students themselves. The activities in building knowledge of the field consist of cultural context. Learners are able to explore cultural similarities and differences related to the topic. Shared experience, control of relevant vocabulary. Learners try to build up and extend vocabulary relevant to the topic or text type. And grammatical pattern, learners practice grammatical patterns relevant to the topic or text type. The second is modeling of a text. It is recommended that teachers concentrate mainly on the context of schematic structure with minimal attention being given to language features. The activities in modeling the text consist at least cultural context, social functions, schematic structure, linguistic features, and using spoken language to focus on written text. In these steps, regarding reading is dominant. It is focused on analyzing the genre through model text related to the course topic. The third is joint construction of a text. Joint construction of a text used to reinforce genre purpose and structure, depending on the student's ability to understand and gain control of this aspect of genre. It may be advisable to back to modeling stages and focus more closely on the genre's language features and grammar. Classroom tasks and activities at this stage, according to Hammond et al., enable learners to investigate the relationship between the topic of the field to the purpose of the genre, contribute knowledge of the field in the set construction of the text, negotiate with the teacher and other students regarding the most appropriate organization of knowledge about topic into a written text, represent a knowledge of schematic structures and linguistic features on the genre, enlarge an understanding of some of the differences between talking about a topic and written about it. And the third is independent construction of the text. Before moving to this stage, the teacher needs to assess if the learners are ready to construct the text independently. According to the need of the learners, it may be necessary to recycle some of the tasks and activities at early stages. In this stage, students are prepared for independent construction of text in the same genre, such as research, note-making, observation, interviews, and reading. Classroom tasks and activities at these stages enable learners to incorporate knowledge of schematic structure and grammatical patterns into their own writing, produce written texts that approximate control of the genre, read other examples of the genre in context outside the classroom and feel confident about writing the genre in context outside the classroom. Besides GBA, scaffolding is also important in the process of teaching and learning. Scaffolding is placed around the outside of new buildings to allow workmen access to the emerging structure as it rises from the ground. There are five types of scaffolding. The first is offering explanation, the second inviting students' participation, the third verifying and clarifying students' understanding, the fourth modeling of desired behaviors, and the last inviting students to contribute clues. Now we come to the research method. The design of the study is qualitative research design embracing case study approach. The focus of all qualitative research needs to be on understanding the phenomenon being explored. In addition, case studies serve to describe the natural phenomena which occur within the data in question. This study involved one teacher enrolling in a junior high school in Bandung. The teacher who became the participant of this study has applied a genre-based approach in teaching English in the classroom. The observation through Google Classroom conducted to find out how the teacher implement genre-based approach to scaffold students in writing in online learning, whether GBA implemented effectively in online learning. And the second data collection is interview. The interview intended to validate or to confirm data obtained from the observation. The data analyzed by using a technique suggested by Miles and Haberman 1994. The steps are as follows. First, the researcher interviewed the informant about their understanding about the concept and their knowledge about genre-based approach and how they applied it in the process of teaching and learning in the classroom. And then the researcher checked the component of GBA in the stages, and the researcher grouped the data based on the way they are gained. The data classified into two groups. They are interview and teaching observation. The data from the observation then coded. In other words, after transcribing the data, the researcher selected specific data to use. Relevant to the research question and disregard are the data that do not specifically provide evidence in the study. Lastly, the researcher draw a conclusion. Now we come to the findings. The aim of this study were to investigate whether GBA can be implemented effectively to scaffold students' writing in online learning. The result of this research showed that the teacher in this study conducted some activities in order to scaffold the students to write in online learning. The data findings are displayed in order of the stages of genre-based approach, such as building knowledge of the field, joint construction, and independent construction. Building knowledge of the field. To begin the lesson, the teacher prepared the students with the topic by giving the students a video of storytelling about the experience of someone. The person in the story told her experience in having holiday. After watching the video, the teacher asked the students about the video. Despite familiarize students with the topic being studied. As in meeting one, the students seem have no difficulties in responding the teacher's question. The second, modeling. After building knowledge of the field, the step is modeling. In modeling, the students' activities in this stage includes unpacking the context and language of the text, such as the purpose and the structure of the text, and the linguistic features used in the text. The third is joint construction. Joint construction stage is the moment in which the teacher and students collaborate to construct the focus text. There was an activity of joint construction that can be identified since the teacher and the students just interact in online learning. And the last step is independent construction. In this step, the teacher asks the students to write their own text about their experience. Since the genre that being studied was about narrative text, all the students wrote their text and submit their assignment to the Google Classroom. So now we come to the conclusion. The conclusion: the use of GBA in the teaching of English provided the development of the teacher's teaching competence, the student's language proficiency. As the students learned the content of the text, their language skills were developed, and the mastery of vocabulary and grammar also increased. However, in online learning, genre-based approach or GBA is less effective to scaffold students in the teaching of writing. It is due to the teacher and students do not interact directly, and there are several stages of GBA that are difficult to be implemented in online learning, such as modeling and joint construction of text. That's all for my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Good morning.